Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Diane and my passion is painting and creating nature-inspired watercolours in my studio, which are easy for you to do too. I share all my paintings with you on YouTube, and on our website dianeantone.com you can find free downloadable sketches for all the videos to help you make the most of your painting journey. And if you'd like a little bit more, we also have channel memberships with loads of perks for you to enjoy. So welcome on board. Click subscribe and turn on notifications, and let's learn to paint watercolour. Hi everyone, hope everyone's well. Diane here in the studio this morning. It's just stopped raining, the sun's come out briefly, and I'm going to take the opportunity to paint something. Now we have jets flying overhead. Are we at war? Anyway, it's Christmas is coming, and I thought I would do a poinsettia. So this is the one I was practicing on yesterday, and we're going to jump right in and get started on that. But before we do that, I'm just going to ring the chime in honour of Eckhart Tolle and all the other philosophers and wonderful people out there. This was a gift last year, or the year before actually, from my daughter, who knew I was interested in this kind of thing. So here we go. Let's get in the mood. So here I have my brushes for today and a pencil with which I'm going to draw. It's a little silver propelling antique pencil from Germany. And I've got here a rigger. Whoops. I've got a glass pen, and I've got two or three brushes here. These are my two biggest, a 10 and a 14, or 11 and a 14 actually. This is a number 7. These are all Drawwell brushes from Japan. Inexpensive. You can get them direct from Japan if you want to cut out the middleman. Just check in the description below and you'll find a link there, or you can just go to their website, drawwell.com. They're Japanese, but they speak English, and they're very kind people, and they'll do their best to help you. I don't get anything from that, no kind of payback for me whatsoever on that. I just do it because I really respect their brushes. Did you know they're all handmade? If you go to their website, you'll see Mr. What's his name? Hang on. His name is... Oh, where's the letter gone? Anyway, I can't remember. Mayama, I think. Mr. Mayama, who owns the company. There's a picture of him there. Just combing the hairs before they put them into the ferrule here. Amazing. It's all done by hand. These brushes last a long time. They keep a good point. They hold plenty of water. They're not expensive, and I use them all the time. I do use my ZEN brushes as well, but to be honest, I've painted with these now for over 20 years, and you do tend to get in a bit of a habit, don't you? The other thing I wanted to show you was just recently I got my palette back, my big palette that came back for me from Spain, where it had been waiting after the pandemic. We had some things in Spain which we had to recover. And anyway, it came back, and I'm really glad to see it because although I love using my little dishes a lot of the time, sometimes when I do a more free painting, a little bit more loose, I like to have the big selection and the big mixing space, and especially if we're doing something larger in general. So the two methods, they both have a lot of value, I think. And the little dishes, you know, the ones like this that I normally use to show you what colours I'm using, that's great if you're only going to use 4 or 5 colours. And in actual fact, I probably will only use 4 or 5 colours here. But I just feel like spreading my wings this morning and thanking God that it's actually sunny at last. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do, this is, you can see the one I did this morning. It's just a poinsettia. Poinsettia, I don't know quite how you like to say that. And they're easier than you think to do. I'm going to show you how to draw it first of all. So a simplified method of drawing it is to just, first of all, do a cluster in the middle of little, those are the flowers. The red petals, they're actually leaves. So these are the flowers, they're very insignificant. Now, It's easier to make this plant look convincing if you paint a little bit you take a little bit of a, what's the word, artistic license. Oh, by the way, I'm painting on Baohong paper here. This is the Chinese, 1, 2, 3, 4, Chinese 140 gram paper. Yeah, I'm trying to say that if you make these smaller bracts, the ones nearer the middle, a bit lighter in colour and a bit smaller in size, then it'll be easier for you to give some sort of sense of depth. So you put those ones in first, and we're not going to worry about the veins at this point, but you put those in afterwards. And so then we come in with the bigger bracts, the next one down, and we're basically going to go round and overlap them here, and we're just basically going round the small one because that's sort of the way they are. And then, so that's number 5, and allow your hand to shake, you know, and then, so then the green ones fit in between. And this is a simplified version, but it can be quite effective. Whoops, I did that the wrong way. There we are. And so there we are, that's all there is to it at this point in time. So then I'm going to take a small round brush, number 5, 7, something like that. And we'll pick up some paint. It's cadmium yellow, let's say, for example, would be fine. And we're just going to paint some yellow dots in the middle there. And a trick I learned the other day, actually, which I do naturally do it all the time myself. I hadn't really thought about it as being a nifty trick. And that is that if you paint in something like this, then you can lift some of it off, either using your brush or using a piece of tissue, depending on how big it is. And then we want to add a little bit of orange. Now I know that you're not going to be, I'm going to reorganise myself a bit here. You're going to complain bitterly because you can't see the palette. So I'm just going to move everything over a bit. Now you should be able to see. Okay, so I've just picked up some green. I'm going to, some orange rather. I'm just going to drop a bit of orange in. And then later I'm going to add some green around here and perhaps in the background. Right, so like I was saying, did I say this already? The Poinsettia has changed a bit over the years, and now all the red leaves are all very much of a muchness. They're all basically the same colour as one another. But years ago, these middle ones tended to be lighter. So for artistic license, I'm just going to do those ones in pale pink. This is Permanent Rose. This one, this colour, and I'm going to give it a little bit more variety, I will add, let's say, a bit of, I think that's Scarlet Lake. So just drop that in and let that do its thing in various different places. And then, because I'm painting loose, not wet in wet, but loose, I need now to come to the darker ones behind. So I want some good scarlet, really, with a touch of cadmium, sort of, I don't know, a dark red anyway. I feel I want a little bit of blue just to take the edge off that. What do you think? And then I'm going to come in behind with these petals. So I'm just picking up my the colour, the red that I've mixed. I'm not really familiar with this paper yet. I received a parcel yesterday of paper that I'd ordered from Great Art, which is my supplier. Oh yes, $150 worth, euros worth of Arches paper and Bockingford. Yeah, it's brilliant. I haven't ordered that much paper for a lot, if ever. I'm not sure I've ever. I'm not sure about this this stuff, I don't know. Anyway, so we'll come in now with the green and just sort of let that overlap a bit. Let it overlap a little bit, yeah. Do the leaves all a little bit different. To put the veins in, we're going to grab my glass pen, which I have found is an absolutely brilliant way of drawing in the veins. You just scratch them in, you can't see what you're doing, can't see anything, but as the paint sinks into the scratch line, it darkens up and suddenly you've got veins on your leaves. And you can do it on the petals too if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then because I'm a bit of a loose painter, I don't like my outside edges to be too firm. So you could stop there. So my next step is to just wet the background and let some of that paint just flow out. You have to be fairly, what's the word? I don't know what that would be. Anyway, so then I will drop in some little bit of green in the background there. And then over here, I'm just going to do a hint. Well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to go back to this one and increase the darkness behind. Finish one thing at a time, Diane, don't stop. I've been running around trying to do various bureaucratic things this morning. We're darkening the leaves near the centre. Trying to let it run a little bit. I'm using cobalt blue, a little bit of some kind of violet. I'm not sure what that is. It's left over from another previous painting in the background. And then I was just going to do over here, wet the paper and then do a wet in wet. That's the centre. And this is hopefully going to just run nicely. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. And the thing is, you need to be patient and to keep your fingers firmly crossed that it works out something like what you might have hoped for. Let's put a little bit more blue up here, perhaps. I'm not sure if I'm might let that touch. Let that spread out a bit. A bit of lilac down here. And then when you get to this point, you're going to say, and now you just let your painting dry. So that's what we'll do. It's not finished yet, but we have something. So I will go make a cup of tea, I think, and see you in a minute. So I'm just going to add some indications of more leaves, foliage and stuff down here, just by dropping in some pretty random sort of green colours. This is where the mixtures of colours on the palette, if you're painting like this, come in handy. And I've indicated that one and that one. I think perhaps we need to link these two together a bit. Okay, so we're exploring this painting a little bit more at the moment, and it's kind of taken on a will of its own a little bit. And I know a bad workman always blames his tools, but I'm not terribly keen on this Bao paper, so I'm going to put that on record. But I think I'm going to go back to my tried and trusted friends. This is too absorbent, and perhaps you can see as I'm painting, the paint isn't flowing the way you would probably like it to do. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. We have to work with it. So I'm going to introduce a little bit of pen and ink, and hopefully that will give it a bit more of the character I was looking for. And I've already inked in a few of the darks around here and sort of scribbled in some of these flower points. And we can put some veins in the leaves, and they are leaves, that's right, yes. So just scratching them in just a little bit kind of scratchily, as like scratchy things do. This pen it's not my day today, is it? Now the pen's decided it's had enough. It's going on holiday. Whoops, let's try another one. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Trial and error. And of course, if you don't like what you've done, the best thing to do is not to say, I'm never going to paint a poinsettia again. You say, well, I learned something there and I'll have another go. They're not the easiest flower to paint if you want anything remotely like accurate, but well, they do have a Christmas feel to them, don't they? Anyway, so that's a little bit more like that. Now, the thing is, what am I going to do next? I could enlarge this one. I think I will, having started. I could give some shape to this one. So we'll come in with the yellow again, like before, and a little bit of orangey. And then if we kind of just see what happens. I want this one to be really loose. And we'll just pop some greens in behind a little bit more. I don't know if this pen will draw veins in for me in a kind of light way. And then we could possibly have some other greenery. So for example, you could try some sprigs, just drawing them in to see what I think. Some sprigs of fir maybe. Maybe a few, and then make that a cone, I suppose. We could see what happened if we had to go with our sword liner. This would have to be a nice dark green, I guess. Just, this would be Hooker's Green Dark, I expect. Quite like this brush because it gives a very loose stroke. You do need to pick up quite a lot of paint. And I thought we would do a pine cone there, so we'll want some red with some green. Give us a sort of brown. And then we want a bit of shadow. Too dark. And maybe we'll put another one over here. A bit of black. And Okay, well, we can't leave this one completely shapeless, but we might want to just put a few. That's that pen that doesn't work. I'll throw that one away. It's nearly lunchtime for him, isn't it? And then on top of all of that, I think I'm probably going to do some serious snow. So we find our white. And our toothbrush, which has become very stiff since I've started using it for metallics. So it now produces a quite different kind of snow. I think I might have to find a different toothbrush, to be quite honest. Anyway, that's quite a nice stiff effect. So we do that. And we'll wash that again. Get some more white. If there's one thing you can say about my videos, isn't it? They're not, what would you call, not staged. Thank you, Tamsin. Thank you, Johnny. Not staged. This is how it really works. Or not, and often not. Anyway. Plenty of snow on that poinsettia. I keep wanting to call them poincianas. When we lived in the Bermuda, it was absolutely staggering, the poinsettia trees. I've never seen anything like it in my life. We had one in the garden, and every winter it went absolutely fiery red. Just absolutely astonishing. Okay, so we'll just blend in a few of those rather superfluous snowflakes. And maybe, if you feel you've done too many, just lift them out. Yeah. There we are. We'll wait and see what happens when that's dry. And if it's beyond belief how bad it is, I shall bin it, but hopefully not, because I like to show warts and all, whatever. So there's the final painting. If you've enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving us a like and subscribing, it helps us a great deal. And don't forget to turn notifications on so that you hear whenever a new video goes up. So I will let you go now. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.